Today's Kingdom Nugget. There's a difference between influence and authority. Hello, and welcome to The Word, the World, and Everything in Between.
A podcast for women, by women. We're your hosts,
Liz
and Samantha. Today, we have an amazing and spectacular woman, a woman of many talents, many traits, but personally, I could say after knowing her a short while, one of her strengths and gifts is connecting people and networking, and just her ability to be a people person, and the people love her just as much as I love her in the short time I've known her.
Yes. And you know what? This is the one thing I have to say about Eleanor. If she doesn't know about it, it doesn't exist.
True.
And if it exists, Eleanor knows about it. She's in the middle, and she probably either invented it or connected it or has something to do with it.
I love you, Liz. I love you. So without further ado, we have Miss Eleanor here.
Hi, what's your last name?
Breaks.
We know your
Breaks.
last name.
Oh, I know.
Wait, let's do the drum roll, remember?
Oh my gosh. I love you. I just can't.
Okay, so Eleanor, no, all seriousness, you do connect people, and that's your thing.
Yeah.
You are married for 24 years.
Yes.
Which I love. And you're only, what, 25?
You're so sweet. No, 48, Liz. That's very kind. Way to win some points.
You have 4 kids?
Yes.
I always thought you had 3, so today another appeared, which I don't know.
Another one just appeared out of thin air.
We met at a before the 4 kids, they range from age 24 to the one that you have now.
14.
14.
He'll be 15 here shortly.
Eleanor and I met in a very unusual place. We met, well, not unusual, we met at the Murrieta Night Market.
Yes.
You have the most delicious food. It's not a stand. What is it called?
It's a dessert catering kind of situation.
Yes.
Yeah. We had a pop-up.
A pop-up.
Yes. We had
with all the food trucks there. It's called Double Dipped.
Yes.
And you guys did bananas.
Cheesecake,
like a piece of cheesecake that is
Yes.
as big as this cheesecake.
and
Oreos.
dipped in Oreos, dipped in all sorts of toppings, and we do ice cream bars.
Oh,
Yes.
that was the other thing, ice cream bars. And let me tell
They're
you.
so good.
Yes. So good. Yes. For the price, you can't. No, I'm sorry. You know that you're selling them underpriced,
Yeah.
but we already spoke about that. But your heart.
Because remember, it's just a vehicle to get to
Yes.
the end result.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So I'm all about that.
Yes.
But anyway, with all that being said, not only do you have double dipped, I know you don't want to talk about that. We want to talk, well, you do, but not really.
Yes. So as, one of your many, many hats that you wear, being on the board for the Murrieta Unified School District,
Yeah.
you represent, I believe, such an amazing ways. You represent the Conservative Party.
Yeah.
Of course, not just the faith-based side,
Right.
but just the conservatives in general.
Well, yeah, and I think really just representing parents and teachers and students who need a voice for advocacy. So depending on where you fall, and really it's a nonpartisan seat. So you're not Republican, you're not Democrat, it has nothing to do with politics. When you get down to the nitty-gritty of a school board, it really is about student achievement and what we can do to better serve our students and their families. That's the component that I think maybe some previous members or some people in the community don't understand, is that we're advocating for not just the students, but for the parents who bring those students to our schools, who pay for their field trips, who pay the taxes, who are stakeholders in the community. And so I represent both voices.
And how did you get involved in that?
So interesting thing, Liz, is that I was actually cleaning my house because I'm a stay-at-home mom with 4 kids. I do a lot of community advocacy. That's my big jam, like my shtick, if you would. And so I was cleaning my house. I had a podcast on, and I literally was just going through, how the podcasts just kind of continue when you started on Spotify or something. And I was listening to a podcast, and all of a sudden I hear this lady talking about a school that my son is going to, his middle school at the time. And she said, the mom had written in, and she was really concerned that there was a biological boy dressing out in the girls' locker room. I thought, well, that's strange, right? I had not even heard that was even a thing here in California.
Wow.
And so
in California, okay.
Anywhere. I hadn't heard of the thing anywhere. And so I started listening to the podcast. It kind of perked my just my interest. And so what she was saying at the end of it, it was actually my son's school. So I thought, surely this is not true. Like, there's no way that that's even possible. I have 3 girls and 1 son. So I thought, there's no way that that's happening. So I called the school because, do my due diligence. As much as I love your podcast, I would do my own research to verify the facts that's coming over the internet or any type of platform is true. So I called the office and I speak to the secretary, which I thought was very interesting because when I called and I said, hey, my name is, and this is my situation, I'm calling to verify that this is factual information. To which she replies, Mrs. Briggs, I'm going to have to put you on hold because we have been directed not to respond to any of these questions and the principal has to answer them directly, which kind of red flagged me at that point. I thought, that's just strange. Why can't you just give me a yes or no? It's true, right? Well, sure enough, the principal calls me back. I think it was within that same day, and I asked him the 2 questions. Told him the situation, who I was. He knew my son at the time. And I said, sir, is this true? And if it's true, what are we doing about it, right? That was very simple. And I got the absolute runaround. I could not even believe it. And because of some state law, so for those of you who don't, for the listeners who don't know, in 2013, California passed a state law that allowed anybody who identifies with whatever you identify with for sex,
right,
regardless of your biology, you can select the bathroom in which to go to. I had no idea that law existed. I've lived in California for pretty much my whole life, since 20 plus years.
So wait, how long have you been in Murrieta?
5 years.
Okay.
So I was here 5 years at the time, and we were at 3 years when I heard this podcast, I think. And so I thought, that's so strange. So he just puts me back and forth, and really he just kind of put me off and said, there's nothing I can do. My hands are tied. Well, I fired right back. I said, well, how can you tie the hands of the parents without giving us this information? So at the minimum, because here, I'm going to make it very clear, and I try to do this since I started this, I don't care what anybody identifies with. I don't care. God's called me to live my life. You live your life. You're at the end of our lives. Our accountability to God is for my life alone, not even my kids or my husband. So I don't care what anybody identifies with. And I told the principal that. I said, I don't care. But if you will just continue, if you will just let me know, all I'm asking, this was my one request from the district, was tell the parents. Tell the parents who have daughters so that we can have the conversation with our daughters and say, hey, if you are uncomfortable,
right,
you can request accommodations. You can go out and say, hey, I'm not comfortable, find another space to dress in, because this is happening in the PE classes, right? And I thought that was just strange that he didn't even acknowledge that he couldn't. Well, I escalate, I am about due process. That's my whole thing, is I want to make sure if I'm going to battle this thing, I want to make sure I'm doing it right. So I called the principal. He refers me to, I think, the superintendent at the time. So I called student services. I get the runaround there. I finally get a phone call from a guy, and he's no longer with the district, but we spoke for like 45 minutes. And it literally, girls, it felt like I was talking in a circle.
Yeah.
Like, he was very empathetic to my cause. He understood, but because of the state law, we can't do such and such.
So you were on the hamster wheel.
Correct. And I was so frustrated. I said, I want to talk to the superintendent. Get me the superintendent. At the time, I didn't know how the process worked. Now that I know.
Yeah.
Anyways, now that I know.
It's not that easy.
And so I go through and I talk to the student services. We have 2 phone conversations. The superintendent never returned my call at the time, which I thought was very weird, right? But he sends me a letter and he says, he references the California state law. And then he says, because of that law, we cannot disclose that there are someone else biologically at these different schools because it would bring harm to them, which I'm not about bringing harm to people. But I asked him, I said, how is that fair to parents of students I can't even have a conversation with my son, who at the time was 13. I said, he probably wouldn't mind. I said, boys probably wouldn't mind seeing somebody undressed, but how uncomfortable is that when they're already going through puberty, all these things?
Right.
And he refers me to our congressman in a letter. He says, I can't do anything about it. You have to reach out to your congressman. And then doesn't even give me the congressman's number. Now, remember, I'm coming into the space not knowing anything about who my congressman is, who the senators are, who the players are to fight this legislation, right? I'm like, what the heck is this? I was so mad. I was just like, and I didn't know where else to go. So then that's kind of like a hard shut on that door, right? Yeah. I'm like, well, what the heck do I do? So I called the lady who had the podcast. I said, I know you don't know me personally. I sent her a DM. I said, you don't know me personally, but I don't know where to go from here, and I need some help. I need direction. How do we let parents know? Is it holding out signs in front of a school, 100 dads saying, hey, do you know that your daughters are dressing out with biological boys? Is that what it's going to take? And anyways, the person who was on that podcast was Jessica Tapia. She was the high school teacher from Harupa Valley that was fired because she would not allow biological boys to dress in the girls' bathroom. That was why she was on the podcast and hosting the podcast.
The power of podcasts.
Yes. So I'm telling you, Edeluz, if I had never come across that podcast, we would never have triggered the following events, the next events that followed. So she sends me a DM back, says, I'd love to help you. There's a board meeting. Have you ever been to a board meeting? Come with me to the next board meeting. It happened to be that week. And I said, what does that mean, go to a board meeting? Like, why would I go to a board meeting? She said, Eleanor, there's a space for public comments. If you come, I will go with you. So she literally met me at the district office, handheld me and said, here's how you sign up to speak. Here's what's going to happen. And here is, you get a time limit. The whole nine. She literally handholds me through this process, because coming in as a parent who's never experienced it, it's kind of intimidating when you walk into that room, right? You see this dais that's this wooden, it's almost like a massive podium, and there's people up there I've never met. I'm coming here to air my grievances. I don't know who these people are.
Right.
I did not know that the lady sitting up there was representing my trustee area, and I could have called her, but at the time I didn't know she wouldn't have done anything about it anyways, because she voted against parental rights every time. So anyways, we get to the boardroom. I get there and I give the board the what for. I am like, my hand is out. I am like, how dare you? Like, why aren't you telling parents? Well, this is wrong. You know, if you go.
Hold on, Eleanor.
I did. The video went a little viral. Just a little. Because unbeknownst to me, Jessica had actually videotaped me from behind. So she's got this angle of me standing right there. Not the most flattering angle, but that's okay.
But wait, was the video on a podcast?
She put it on her social media, which she's got like some 90,000 followers, some crazy thing.
Perfect.
So she puts it on there and she says, a mama bear has been created, right? Because I didn't know about the school board, I didn't know about this. And I left there thinking, what an absolute waste of time. So here I am, I gave them the what for. I used up my whole 3 minutes. And I'm just telling them this is wrong. You need to tell parents, what can we do to help fight this? And I love teachers and I want to support what you guys are doing, but I don't know what you're doing. So, you know, basically, if you watch the video, I was a little more impassioned. Just a little.
I'm going to go watch it.
Just a little.
We talked about that video before.
So I leave there and I told my husband that was a complete waste of time. I will never go back there. Well, because she had recorded that video, uploaded to her socials, a couple months later, somebody calls me. So I'm like, this is weird. I don't know what else to do, right, God? Like, you're going to have to do this because I'm so angry that nobody's listening and I can't do anything about it. I need some direction. Well, maybe it was about a month later, somebody reaches out to me on a DM and said, hey, I happened to see your video that was posted. And I thought you might want to know that the board, this same board that I went to go speak to, is voting on a parental rights notification to rescind a policy for parental rights. I'm like, why would a school board want to take away parents' rights? That doesn't even make any sense. So sure enough, I load myself back up, get my husband this time. I'm like, you're coming with me. If I'm doing this and I'm going to speak, you're speaking too. Actually, I didn't tell him he was speaking. He did that of his own accord. But we get to this meeting and I find out that this board of 5 people is voting on a policy as to whether if your child identified as a transgender or if they wanted to be called a different name or if they wanted to do these really, really, in my mind, very impactful, life-changing things.
Right.
That they're saying the parents don't have a say in that. That was what the policy was saying. I said, why would anybody want that? That makes no sense to me. So I go up there again and I give them the what for again. Like, who are you people? Who are you?
You in charge.
Correct. And remember, girls, I come from no political background, so I have no filter, like none.
Yeah.
So I'm going up there saying, you have you have no right to my child, no right to tell me how to raise my kid. And the fact that if my kid's going through a mental health struggle, that you would not come and tell me, that you would not come bring me to the table for a conversation.
Yes.
So I tell them that and we go off again. And then this little lady comes up to me at this meeting because apparently I wasn't the only one. I didn't know it. I thought I was the only one really mad at this board. There was a whole room full of parents and grandparents in that room. And so when I did my little spiel, all I hear is this like applause, like, yeah, go get them. And I'm like, who are you people? Like, where did you come from? Because I'm in my, when you're speaking and you're in a public setting, you know, I've done it so many times now, but you isolate, like you can't hear anything else.
Oh, wow.
So as soon as I was done is when I heard this huge round of applause. I'm like, I literally walked back, but I was still steaming. I was still angry, like, you people, whatever, right now. Well, I find out that I'm going to the bathroom. This lady comes up to me. She goes, Eleanor, you don't know me, but I hope to God you run for school board. I'm like, I look at her. I'm like, okay, I'm going to the bathroom. I don't know what this is. I didn't. Right. What is it? What does that mean? What does it look like? Well, that triggered this whole conversation. Shortly thereafter, I had few people approach me saying, hey, we really need somebody with your voice and with your passion on this board. And like, I don't know what that looks like. I'm not qualified. I mean, my greatest thing was high school. That was as far as I got in education. And I'm thinking these people on this school board are like, you know, highly educated. They're teachers. Two of them at the time were teachers. One of them was
PhDs.
Yeah, like degrees. I'm like, how does that work? Well, girls, the only qualification to run for a school board is that you're 18 years old and you live in the trustee. Only, and you're not a felon. So that's
That's a big one.
they'll vet you. But those were the only two requirements. And I thought, okay, God, can I do this? And I thought, then I find out that the lady who represented my trustee area, so in the district, it's separated, Murrieta specifically, is separated into 5 trustee areas, right? Each trustee area gets to vote for their representative on that board. And then I said, so who's my representative? I literally, I'm typing on the computer, like, how do I find out who's my representative? Yeah, I Googled. And I find out my trustee representative. So the next meeting I come to, because again, they're trying to do it again. So let me back up. That night, they passed the parental notification, which was the win. It was a huge win for us. Like, yeah, that's awesome because all these people came and I didn't know them. And we won that night. And then I find out again, they're trying to rescind it again. They put it up on the docket a couple months later. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? I go back again. I finally speak to the person who sits in my trustee. And I said, you do not represent me and you do not represent my family. I was so upset that I literally earlier that day, because I discovered what a trustee area was and I figured out how that worked, I literally just went down my neighborhood, which my court is really long, knocked every door in my court. I said, hi, I knock on your wood, sorry. And I said, hi, my name is Eleanor. I'm your neighbor down the street. I was just at a school board meeting, and do you know that our school board representative, I said who she is, and I said, do you know that she's voting against parental notification? Nobody knew.
Yeah.
Nobody. Not one neighbor down this whole street. I think it's probably about, 15, 20 houses. Right. Not one person knew. So that night at the meeting, I looked at her and I don't like pointing, but I point like this. I'm like, you do not represent my family. I knocked every door down my neighborhood, down my street, and nobody knows who you are or what you're doing and that you're voting against parents every single time. Well, what I didn't know at the time, so I stop my thing. I do everybody, there's people in the room, they clap again. I leave, right? I'm sitting there. I leave the podium, I clap, and then I get an email shortly after from this representative. And she says, I haven't had a chance to meet with you. I understand your concern. I would love to meet with you. Now, remember, I already had been having these conversations about people saying you should run for the board. And I'm still kind of in this toss up, like, I don't know.
At that moment, became Moses. Let my people go.
Yes. So I'm like, I don't know. I told my husband, we're going to meet with her. We're going to meet because I'm about dialogue. If I can talk things through with people, understand the reasoning and the motivation, if you can convince me that what you're saying is a true thing, listen, I will partner with you. That's my thing. I partner with people. So we go to coffee and I'm sitting there, and in the course of that conversation, based on what she said, because my question to her was, she was saying that if we did this, we're going to have to fight the state and there's going to be so much litigation and the school would be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I looked at her, I said, what is the cost of not fighting for this? Why wouldn't you fight for the constituents for your constituents and our families? That makes no sense to me that you wouldn't fight for something that I think she believed was the right thing. Right. But she was so afraid of the litigation, so afraid of the backlash, so afraid of the state of California coming against the board, which, listen, I'm not about being silly and stupid and just trying to waste money. Yeah. But there are causes worthy of fighting for. And this to me was one of them. So after I left that meeting, I turned to my husband, I said, definitively, I am running for this seat. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it takes. I've never run a campaign before. But I said, listen, I am willing to fight for kids. I'm willing to fight for families. And then they always bring up the marginalized community, right? The people, and I understand that it's about 20%. Right. But you are negating 80% of the population doing what you're doing. And the resources that we have in place for the district are huge. We have so many psychologists, so many social workers currently on staff at each site. So for us to make this thing, so they always say, well, you're making it a culture war. No, I am not making it a culture war. This is not a culture war. So that's how I really got my foot in the door of this district. So we run this campaign, having never run one before. I didn't know what I was doing, girls. I literally, just like you started the podcast, I just put up a sign. I just started a social media. I started two accounts, my Instagram and my Facebook pages, which I really believe because of the reach of social media, I was able to capture people who don't know what on God's green earth is going on in the school. You've been there. Yeah. Nobody knows unless you tell them what is happening at the local level, which if you look at it, the local level politics, I heard this years ago and I didn't understand it until now, the fullness of it until now. School boards and city councils are some of the most influential positions. Forget trying to go for the presidency or the senators or even assemblyman seats. The local level politics is the grassroots movements within each community. Wow. If you sit on these boards or if you get to these city council situations, these are the people that potentially could have the influence and impact to be able to change legislation, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to get started here. You know me, I wanted to fight the congressman. Let's get the president involved in all this. I'm going to go to D.C. Like, what are you going to do in D.C.? Yeah, exactly. I'm going to the governor's office. But the governor, as much as the crazy state laws in our state happen, he is moved by people. Right. He's moved by how this massive group of people, how much impact and influence do they have to my campaign? Right. That's what happens. So I started the campaign, we started the social medias, doing all of this, and all of a sudden in my trustee area, I see all these signs for our opponents. So I'm running on a ticket with 2 other conservatives. I see all their signs coming up in my, like every corner, there was a sign, every corner, signs all the way down the street. I'm like, holy cow, I had signs, but not as many, right? I'm like, holy cow. I literally said, God, how I've done everything I know to do. To this point, I've been doing videos. I've been doing, like as many social media posts as I can, talking to people, going to meetings, having coffee, all that.
And I could see that.
Right. All day long. That's what I was out because I don't work full time. I had the benefit of doing, that's the grace of God, is that I was able to do it. But because I was on this learning curve, it was kind of, a little bit kind of dampened. But I'm passing by these signs and I said, God, I cannot do this. I cannot compete with their signage. Like it was, girls, when I tell you it was everywhere, it's like it was sign bombing. Well, this is what he said to me, he said, Eleanor, they may have signs, but your win will be a sign and a wonder.
Wow.
After that,
got the chills.
After that day, I'm like, okay, game on, God. I can do. I'm telling you, I was having such a moment, and just the grace of God just came down and said, it'll be a sign and a wonder. And sure enough, she was an incumbent for 7 years sitting in that seat. So I come out of nowhere. People think I'm like this political plant, but truly I'm a God plant. Like I have no political anything. Like I don't even know how to talk to these politicians half the time I'm in there. I'm like, I'm just me. I'm just me.
Speaking from your heart and telling your mind.
But that's the thing, is that it really is from the heart. I have no political ambitions. And I told the off of the dais a couple meetings ago, I said, I don't understand people. Like, what do you want? Do you think I'm trying to be like the first Pacific Islander president in the world?
I love that.
Yes. No.
She's
no, Anna Liz.
No. You're from Guam.
Yes, I'm originally from Guam. So on the island, it's a very family, very community geared thing. And all I simply took was how I was raised, applied it to what I thought would be a campaign. And immediately there was this community of people that came around me. I can't even tell you, like, I could be brought to tears just thinking about the people who literally came alongside me on this campaign.
I wish I would have known you that.
And said, Eleanor, we believe in you. We want you to win, and we're going to do whatever it takes. So I think pretty much every Saturday, we coordinated a walk, right, where we just go knock doors. Because that was what I told my opponent I was going to do. I said, I will knock every door in this neighborhood. I'm telling you.
And I actually did.
And we did.
Your word.
My husband printed a map. He took the trustee area. He broke it out into walkable map sections. Like, I think we had 8 or 10 of them.
That's a lot.
I pinned them to the wall. I have a video. I pinned them to the wall. And every time we had a group go out, I would take a highlighter and we'd highlight that thing. By the end of the campaign, like literally, we were cutting it close. Like 2 weeks before the election was when we finally hit every single house in our trustee area.
Wow.
And that was really the grace of God, because there's no way, girls, I would have been able to do it by myself without the community of people that came around me. That's why I'm such a community advocate. Yeah. This is why I believe in connecting people, because you never know who is going to partner with you in whatever endeavor God's called you to do.
Amen.
That's why you have to be open. I drug my friend to that networking event, my friend Kim, and she's not a networker person. I said, Kim, listen to me. I'm like, listen to me.
I love her. I can't wait to.
I know. Yes. I'm so excited because she has so much wisdom, so much, so much to offer people in life. Her wisdom is phenomenal. But if you don't put yourself in spaces and places that oftentimes we think we're uncomfortable in, that God cannot bring along the Edalises and the Sams and the Emmas, that for whatever reason you've connected them into my life, God. So show me how to leverage those connections for your good and for your kingdom. That's really why. That's why we had the double dip.
So
that's why that's the only, my husband, he's all, one of these days it's got to become profitable. I said, I know. But he's all, Eleanor, stop giving stuff away. I do it all the time. I have to just digress here. When I first moved to Marietta, I didn't have a job because my husband has always provided since we got married for 24 years. So I didn't need to, and I get to do what I can with the kids, right? But, they're in school now. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? I'm down here. I used to do a whole bunch of volunteer. We're pretty new to Marietta. So I got into liquidation. I literally found a warehouse in Las Vegas.
What?
We would drive my little SUV. We'd leave 6 o'clock in the morning and we'd go to Las Vegas, load up as much as I could pallet-wise. Like, we're talking pallet of stuff and product from like Target and Amazon and these things, right? I would take it back to my house. When we first started, we did one pallet. I'm like, holy cow, I can totally do this. I can do this. And your whole family's like, we know, Mom, but we can't. Exactly. So I came in, my garage is always typically clean, and so we put that stuff in from the liquidation. I would fill it up, and I made like, I don't know, $700 or $800, whatever. But my husband, who's the accountant math person, he's not an accountant by trade, but he's very good with numbers. He calculated how much I would spend in gas, how much the wholesale price, and then he said, listen to me before we go down.
You're breaking.
Yeah. He said, listen to me. If you're going to do this, I don't care that you're doing this. All I'm asking is you make the money back, and whatever else, give it away. Whatever else, he knows me, right? Yeah. So I looked at him like, I did some numbers, I did some girl math in my head, and I thought, all I have to do is sell this. Yeah, all I have to do is, I'm like, that is so easy. So I sell enough product to be able to cover the expenses for the trip, and then everything else I'd give away. You want that? Yeah, go ahead, take it. You want that? I already made the profit. Oh my gosh. I didn't even make a profit. I literally did.
You kept your word.
That was our agreement. I think I did it 4 times. We did this trip 4 times. Each time we increased the pallet load, right? And so we would do that. So just to keep myself occupied. But when I did that, what I realized was this: even in that, you can create a community.
Right.
Even in that. So as a result of having that liquidation, selling it on Facebook Marketplace, I met a family who now attends our church faithfully. They had not been going to church, but we met them through a sale on Facebook. Yeah. Since that time, I sold to them, or I gave it to them, actually. I didn't even sell it to her. I gave her and her daughters, they were just adorable. I'm like, oh no, just go ahead and take it. Don't even worry about it, And since that time, they've been at our church, serving at our church faithfully. They're part of our kids program. He's part of our security detail. Wow. But it was that one transaction I have not sold since. I haven't done another liquidation.
You attend?
West Coast Life,
right,
in Marietta.
Yeah.
So now they're apart.
Because am I not like that a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like that, connecting people
yes.
at that level and this and that, and giving away stuff where my family's like, that's fine. All right, guys, we're doing.
She's over here volunteering anything.
Yes.
And she's like, oh no, like we have it. And I'm like, what do you mean we have it? Like, where are you going to take this one? Well, the one in your room.
The one in my room.
See, that's what I love about your mom, Sam. We are literally kindred spirits.
Yes, kindred spirits.
I'm just telling you.
Listen, this morning, my son-in-law, because my son-in-law, I have, you know how I'm doing the bedroom as an office. So I have a mattress to give away. So I reached out to a couple of people.
Okay.
And somebody said, okay, I'll take it. So this morning, he doesn't know, but I'm telling him, I'm like, okay, so on Saturday, after writers, my wife hasn't told you yet because she doesn't know. She's finding out now as we're talking on the podcast.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're going to have to deliver. This is in Temecula. So you're going to take Nono's, which is the son, you know, my husband's name for the grandkids. You're taking his truck. You're going to deliver it and this and that. And he was just like, okay, Glenn.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
he got voluntold.
Yeah. And
That's pretty much.
Yeah. Pretty much that's how
We're here and what we're here. No, but like you were saying, you know, just speaking how you ended up where you are now, being on the school board and everything, it really goes to show that all it takes is the heart and the will to not just make a difference in your life, but to make sure that others are not being affected as well. And especially when there is such a big population of people that necessarily don't feel like their words matter or that their feelings matter. And you know what, let's just go with the flow. It shows that no, it does matter and that we can make change and we are the change makers.
Yes.
And we're the link between the success of community, of parents being heard, students being heard, the advocacy that we need to make sure that we play in our communities daily.
And it's true. And somebody just sent me a thing, or somebody just posted on my social page that said, because she was at the meeting, and she said, thank you for showing us the importance of being at these meetings and being informed. And that is my goal. So since the launch of the campaign, one of my biggest things to this date, if I had won the campaign or not, I would still be doing what I'm doing. I would still be advocating. I would still be talking. I would still be gathering people. So now, because of this force of community that we have, as a result of that, now I think our voices are becoming amplified. And it's not just my voice. That's what I recognize. You know, there are people who say, well, this is normal. This should be the way it is everywhere, whatever you're battling for. And I tell people all the time, we've got to become the louder voices in the room, the voices of reason, the voices of common sense. Because if we don't, your silence is complicity. You're complicit in your silence.
And also, you told me the story.
My husband, I would never have done the campaign without his support. There was just no way.
You have to have support of your family.
Because he supported me through the entire thing. We would be up till 11 o'clock at night putting up signs. When during the whole thing, he'd be digging the two of us
not going anywhere.
And they stole our signs. They did so many terrible things.
And the smear campaign.
Oh my God, it was terrible. It was
and the
horrible.
Whole time you never spoke.
No.
Say that.
No. So one of the big things that I recognize is that, God, I don't want to highlight the terrible things that basically are demonic and that the devil's using people to do. So not once during my entire campaign did I ever, other than sharing information specifically about that, the parental notification and naming the trustee by name was the only one time I did it. But I never attacked the people who stole our signs, who literally lied about us I never responded. They would say terrible things about that she's unqualified. What makes you so just terrible? I can't even explain. But I never responded because I recognize that God wants us to focus on the positive. And if we do enough positive, like if you do enough good in the community, it's kind of like that U shape on a sink. You push down enough good, it will automatically get rid of the bad. It will just flush it out. And so that's what I did. I focused on, hey, I'm not going to I don't care what they do. Even today, I posted something, which by the way, that video has almost 2,500 views on it from last night's meeting or the other night's meeting. Because I posted, I'm like, I want people to know that I am done with people telling lies. I will not talk ill about you, but I will no longer allow you to speak lies about what we're doing as parents and as community members and as stakeholders in this community. No more. So I posted a video, Emma, that was like, basically just gave them the what for, but I'm on the dais this time. So I'm on this side.
See, now you're looking sideways.
Yes.
and you.
That's exactly what happened. And I don't even know what came over me, but I was just like, I cannot sit here anymore and just take this. It is so wrong because I represent the voices. Yes.
I was there.
So yes, you were.
I was just like...
I think it was like this huge mic drop because nobody knew that I was done. I was just, and you are disingenuous. When I go in the community, there is no denying I'm a complete teacher advocate. As long as the teacher is working in partner, really working to try to partner with
family advocate.
I'm a total,
you're an advocate for everybody, I think.
That's true.
Yeah,
A universal
I'm all, yes, that's true. I'll fight with you. I'll do the cause with you, whatever that looks like.
It makes sense.
If it makes sense, and I
Yes.
believe in it.
Yes.
That's why I believe in your
Yes.
podcast.
Right.
I believe you should be telling stories all over the world, Edelise.
Yes.
This is a great space to do it. Like, this
Yes.
people,
Thank you.
put mine on if you want, but just the stories I've already heard, phenomenal. Just
Yes. No,
What do you mean
but
put yours
because
on?
You are. Why are we talking to you for the fun of it?
I feel like,
yes, because I love hanging out with you.
taking you to dinner.
That's true. We should go to dinner. Okay.
Yes.
Done.
Eleanor, thank you so much for
Yes,
being on the
thank
podcast.
you.
You are a busy lady. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with Humble Us.
Oh, stop.
The word of the world and everything in between. Could you do us a favor?
Yes.
Can you pray us out?
Yes.
And pray for the family or whatever the Lord
Yes.
has.
For sure. Father, I thank you for today, God. I thank you that this time is profitable for your kingdom, God. I thank you, Lord, that as we have come together, that you would just continue to bless this podcast. Bless the work of their hands, the words of their mouth today, Lord. And I just thank you that as families in our community gather together, God, that they're hearing truth spoken in love. And I thank you, God, that you would just bless each family in our communities, Father, specifically in Murrieta, Father God. But I just thank you that anyone who's listening to this podcast, I thank you for soft hearts, open ears, Lord. And I just thank you that your word is breaking yokes of bondages in families, in school districts, in places and spaces that you have called us to be the light. And I just thank you for this in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, if you have any prayer requests, questions, or praise reports, we would love to hear from you. Bye.